If you were in the Art as a Pathway to Global Consciousness, you learned that my gift is storytelling. And so I'm actually going to share some stories, because I also have a couple of different threats towards sustainable tourism that nobody really talks about. I mean, we know about single-use plastic. We've seen it wash up on our shores. My husband and I have holidayed in places like the Dominican Republic and Belize where we've seen this waste wash up on our shores. We know about the emissions that airlines create, the toxic waste that cruise ships actually transfer to our waters, and I'm a scuba diver, and I personally am not happy about that. So we know about these things. So I don't have anything new on the scientific level to share with you. I did want to mention, overcrowding. We've been talking about, you've heard the news a lot about over-tourism, and one of the places where I holidayed is Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. And as I was preparing for this talk, I learned there are over 75,000 hotel rooms in Punta Cana alone, which is a very small resort town. And there is not a water system, a clean water system for the locals. There is no government oversight at all when it comes to landfilling. And even though the hotels themselves have a water treatment system, the water is not safe. And trust me, I knew this firsthand. I was sick for several days. The over-tourism creates overdevelopment, and these are some of the problems that we have. And off the coast, lack of proper sewage treatment. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. But on top of these human-driven threats, there's also global warming, which we've heard a little bit about, climate change, and those are multipliers of the risk that we all suffer and risk towards our ecosystem. But what I wanted to mention to you are two things that isn't really discussed. One is war, and we know war is it's a no-brain threat to tourism. Do you remember when Iraq was a tourism destination before the Gulf War? And now, when we travel to tour conferences or travel conferences, Iran is actually actively promoting their tourism product because the threats are not there, the war is not there. But the second threat that is very important to me, it's my heart message, and one that kind of share in our book, Success Simplified, which we brought out there. It's an invisible threat, and it's the preconceptions we have about other cultures, which is really disguised as unconscious bias. These unconscious biases are influenced by a number of sources, whether it be sensationalized media reports, rants on social media, uninformed opinions from family and friends, and just naysayers. And unfortunately, this, the negative rhetoric we hear a lot is misleading, and what it does is create fear, and it paralyzes people from even going outside of their home. And I can tell you, there's stories of guests that my husband and I have interviewed on our media travel company, our podcast, World Footprints. There are a number of stories that we've interviewed. Guests have shared with us. And I want to share with you a story about one of our guests who is actually performing in Washington, D.C. tonight, which is where we're from. And this is a story about her near-miss with a transformative travel experience. Her name is Renee. She is an African-American jazz artist from North Carolina. And years ago, Renee she left an abusive marriage and she went back to her love for music. So she started singing. Her manager booked her on a concert tour to Germany. And she didn't want to go. She dug her heels in because that all Germans are racist. And so she thought they would be racist against her and they wouldn't embrace her jazz music. But she went at the behest of her manager and she decided to give 100% of herself in her performances. And what she discovered was that Germans really do like jazz, and they really embraced her. And so what she gained by leading into her travel experience and by honoring that experience, she calls Germany her second home. And she developed a large audience and just really transformed her opinion. And as an African-American woman, she told me she was ashamed and shocked that she actually had racist, prejudice feelings towards this culture because her influencers told her to paint this culture with a broad stroke, and that's a very dangerous thing. We have also interviewed, we have also experienced and seen firsthand those people who will not fight back or push back against negative influences. My husband Ian and I we have been covering the Olympic and Paralympic Games for years. And most recently, in our recent, within the last decade, do you remember during the 2014 Sochi Russia Games, when the conversation was about terrorism because that was the height of the Russian-Ukraine conflict? Ian and I decided to travel and cover the games, and because we do our own ground truthing, we find our truth on the ground, we do our due diligence in order to share a different truth than the media is offering. So we went, and Ian was treated like a rock star. Many Russians liked him too, but people flocked to us for a photograph with my husband. And they offered free hugs, and and this was even outside of the protected Olympic bubble. What we found were lovely people, great food, and just an atmosphere of joy. Some athletes were frightened away from traveling. 2016, we have the Summer Games in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And what were the two things? Do you guys remember the two problematic things with the games? Anybody? Crime and the Zika virus. Remember that? So we went to Brazil because we wanted to do our own ground truth and see for ourselves. And this is what we found. We found, in terms of Zika, 2 mosquitoes in 1 taxi cab, and I killed them. 2 seconds flat. They're gone. And in fact, the truth was the Zika mosquito was concentrated in the northeast part of Brazil, far away from Rio. And athletes who qualified for the chance of a lifetime to participate in the games, they didn't come because they were fearful. The other issue was crime. And you may have heard me talk about the Vídeos favela downstairs. We went through a favela, which is supposed to be a hotbed for criminal activity, and there's crime that does occur, as it does in every big city and at every big event. But we went by ourselves, and we found there was no police presence. I had my very expensive Nikon camera, and we walked through the favela taking photographs of street art and people. And we found out with this favela, they have a hospitality program between the high school and the Sheraton Hotel. And they have a very thriving arts community as well. In addition, there is a favela trail, hiking trail, which I didn't do because it was bloody hot there. But it traverses the mountain ranges and goes from one favela to another, and it's quite popular. People do this. But my point being, these are examples where negative influencers have discouraged people from connecting. And President Abraham Lincoln once said, a house divided cannot stand. And that's the same with humanity. And so my take on sustainability and tourism comes from the humanity side. We are killing each other. We are dividing, and there's too much divisive language and rhetoric, and unfortunately from my neck of the woods right now, but there's too much of that going on, and that is really that's going to tear us apart. And I just want to touch on a couple of things that Kristen said, and in terms of traveling, one of the sustainable things we can do as travelers, whether we're at home, is buy local products. We have covered a number of stories where people are eating unsustainable food that's on the endangered list, and they're buying crafts made from endangered species like sea turtles, and we've done a lot of work trying to raise awareness about this and sharing with communities that it's much more valuable to have. People will travel to see the sea turtles. They won't travel to buy a shell from a dead sea turtle. And so there's been an educational thing that we've tried to do in our space as travel journalists. And that is the ripple of change, positive change that we are trying to make in this world in order to support the sustainability of this world and our humanity. And I just ask you to join us in this challenge. Thank you.